Hey you guys, my name is Mara Sullivan and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's video is about going through transition, transitioning from one phase of life to the next, transitioning from one season to the next, and, going through change and adapting and being more resilient and embracing discomfort. Change is not always easy. We know that, you know, if you are someone who, and most of us are, comfortable with routine, like when things are predictable, like when you can have a plan and when you know what's coming. But life is not always like that. The only constant in life is change. So things never stay the same. Even when, as soon as you get used to something and used to doing things one way, usually something else comes up and you have to readjust and do things a different way. There's so many different versions of change, reasons for change. You can, have to transition from one city to living in a different place. You can have to transition from having someone in your life to no longer having them there. There are so many different changes that occur in life, and I believe that everything is neutral. We put good and bad labels on everything. However, we all know that some things are a lot harder to deal with and to go through than other things. But just remember that perspective is everything. This video is one video in a whole series that I'm doing on here called It's a Spring Thing. If you have not seen any of the other videos in this series, go check those out. I wanted to do a whole spring themed series because there are so many themes of spring that we can apply to our own lives. One of those being transition, going from literally from winter to spring is a transition of the seasons, and we can apply that to our life. But there are so many other different, spring themes that we can apply to our life. So like I said, this is a series. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video, and go check out the other videos in this series if you have not seen the series that I did before this series called Galentine Wine Time. Go check that out as well. It is a bunch of girlhood, womanhood themed videos that I did for Galentine's Day, and just all different girlhood, womanhood topics, everything from divine feminine to self-care to girlfriends to PMS to intimacy to sex to dating, relationships, and just so many other different girlhood, womanhood, you know, kind of like wine sleepover, just like you're hanging out with me chats, as all of my videos are. But doing the Galentine series made me realize that I love to do a series. And so we're just moving right into the next series with It's a Spring Thing, since we are literally transitioning. Right now, I'm recording this, it's the end of February, so winter will be wrapping up soon and we'll be getting into the spring. This video, like I said, is about going through transition and dealing with change. And so the first thing to remember, whether you are going through a good change or a bad change, is like I said, most of us like when things are predictable. Most of us like routine. Most of us like when we know what is going on, when we know what is happening so that we can prepare. But again, life does not always work like that. And so it's important to know your own personality. If you are more type A, you're going to deal with change and being flexible and, having to readjust and, having to be flexible when things happen. Depending on your personality type is how you're going to navigate it. And so you have to be self-aware enough to know how you personally deal with change. It's really important to remember that even good change, or even things that we know is going to happen, even things that we want to happen, it can sometimes still feel uncomfortable because it's new. New things are not always easy. Just because it's something that we want, if it's something that we work for, if you're a person of faith, something that you've been praying for or manifesting, or just anything in life that you know you want it to happen, sometimes when it happens, even when it's something good and when we wanted it to happen, your body can still like go through a shock. I remember one of my friends from college. I went to Morgan State University. Shout out to my HBCUs. If you went to a HBCU, comment down below. One of my friends from college moved to New York after graduation, and even though it's somewhere she always wanted to live, a dream that she had always had was to live in New York City, she got to New York and it was like she went into complete shock. Like she was working from home but ended up never leaving her apartment because it was like her brain and body just could not make the adjustment to living in a new city. Like she got there and it was like overwhelming. And so you really have to know how you, again, like even if it's something that you've always wanted, something that you always wanted to do, a transition or move that you've always wanted to make, be prepared to still have to make a mental adjustment when that change happens, because sometimes it really does take our brains and our bodies a minute to catch up to what's going on, especially if you have been used to doing one thing a specific way your entire life or for a very long time. You need a minute to let yourself readjust. And so just remember to give yourself time, give yourself grace if you are someone who is struggling with adjusting to a new season of life, place in your life, new people in your life, not having someone in your life. If this is your first time seeing my videos, I actually lost my mom a little over a year ago in November 2023. And so obviously that was a major life shift for me. I was 25 when my mom passed. I'm now 26. It was my ultimate quarter life crisis. I have several videos talking about that if you want all the details. But I really had to figure out what my life is like now without my mom. My mom was my only immediate family. My dad has never been in my life, and I have no siblings. And so I have really had to use this past year to figure out what my life looks like now. I have amazing extended family and great friends, but there's nothing like having immediate family. And so I have had to, figure out what my own life looks like now and what I want my life to look like now. I think that it really helps to find silver linings when difficult change happens. I don't really believe that things are bad. Even the most devastating of things, you can always find a silver lining or at least one good thing if you look hard enough. I know that hard things happen, difficult things happen, bad things happen, and it can knock the wind out of you. I know because I've been there. And so it's really important to find at least one silver lining. One thing that losing my mom did for me was really made me realize and start to really think about what I want my life to look like long term. We all know that funerals and homegoing services and death and loss and anything related to grief is extremely hard. But one thing that I'm always interested in, this is going to sound weird, but when I go to funerals, when I go to homegoing services, I'm always really, really like compelled and really interested in people's obituaries. Like they fascinate me. I like to know what people are remembered for. And it was really interesting to me to not just have to reflect on my time with my mom and what she meant to me, but to hear other people, reflect on my mom and what she meant to them. And it really, you know, was kind of like a little bit of a wake up call. Like, what, none of us come here to stay. And I've always been someone who knows because I grew up, I like, I have a very old soul. And so everything that I'm into is like from a completely different generation. And so I grew up admiring Audrey Hepburn a lot. And one of her documentaries, she said that death is a part of life. And that has always stuck with me. It's just always something that I've just never forgotten. I am a Scorpio. And so we tend to lean more towards the darker sides of life anyway. So I'm not like freaked out by more morbid things. Like I'm comfortable with it. It doesn't really creep me out like it does with a lot of people. Like I'm more like comfortable talking about death, talking about grief. That's why like I wanted to share my story on here because it's something that has never really made me uncomfortable to talk about, especially being black. And a lot of, not to be stereotypical, but a lot of people in our community hate talking about death. Like it is, and I get it, but it's also like something that we need to open up the conversation about because none of us are exempt from it. If there's one thing we know about life is that death is a part of life. None of us make it out of here alive, okay? Let's just be honest. And so that's part of the reason why I wanted to start this channel too, was to like talk about more things that are taboo that people don't really like to talk about. But that was a whole tangent. My point was that losing my mom, although devastating and it's a sadness that will never go away from me, it's something I'm going to have to learn to live with and learn to embrace, just like I'm talking about in this video. I am someone who believes that everything happens for a reason. I'm someone who believes that when people cross over, that means that their work in this lifetime was done. And on that opposite side of that same coin, I also believe that those of us who are still here, it means that we still have more work to do. It means that we still have more things in us that we're supposed to get out. And so I really had to, take the time to just sit with myself, which I have no immediate family, so sitting with myself is very easy to do. I have had to take the time to sit with myself and really figure out what I want people to say about me when I'm no longer here, what I want to be remembered for, and really get serious about life, getting serious about what I want my life to look like. Like I said, I am 26, and I think that purpose and meaning and a lot of that stuff are things that so many people don't think about until they're much older, and then they look back on their life and they're like, I really wasted time, or I really, took youth for granted, or I really, didn't treat that person fairly. Like, a lot of people don't realize just life and the meaning of life and their purpose in life until older. Not saying that, you know all young people don't know what they're supposed to be doing, because there are a lot of young people that know what they're supposed to be doing. But my point is, like, it helped me a lot to deal with a season of transition by focusing on the things that gave me purpose, the things that gave me meaning, the things that fulfilled me the most in life, and starting to do things that I felt called to do. Starting to lean into everything that I love about life, because one of the hardest things that I went through in grief and loss was just figuring out, like, what is the point of all this? Because again, none of us make it out alive. So, I really had to figure out, like, do some soul searching and figure out for me personally, you have to do this for yourself. What fulfills your life? Like, what does life mean to you? And that really, really, really has helped me so much to deal with grief, to deal with this new season of life, to, make the adjustment, the mental shift, to embrace the discomfort, to really, really figure out what fulfills my life, what gives me meaning, what gives me purpose, and also just what do I love? What do I love to do? Who do I love to be around? What in every single category, what makes me happy? What music do I love to listen to? What food do I love? Just, it's allowed me to be more myself, because I really did realize that we don't come here to stay. Life is too short to not live it to the fullest, in whatever that means for you, how in whatever way that looks like for you. I'm very passionate about creating content, and I realized that this is therapy for me. I started this YouTube channel in November. So I've been doing YouTube now for about 3 months. So not too long, but I've had a podcast for like 2 years, and I love sharing my story. Creating content is therapeutic for me. Being creative and having a creative outlet is therapeutic for me. But it might not be for you. Getting on camera and telling your story to strangers on the internet might not be your idea of comfort. And so you really need to figure out what works for you, and really what, like I said, just really what makes you light up, what gives you meaning, what gives you purpose in life. And the reason why this helps when going through seasons of transition and seasons of change is because sometimes when you're going through things that are very uncomfortable, when you're going through things that really shake you to your core, again, I will never talk about anything on here that I have not experienced and lived through and am living through myself. And so when you're going through extremely difficult, earth shattering, life altering things, obviously it's very easy to get fixated on what is wrong. It's very easy to fixate and obsess over and dwell on, what is uncomfortable, what you don't like, the bad that has happened. But it really, really helps when you can find that one silver lining, when you can shift your focus on to things that you love, onto things that do bring you purpose, that you still have. Practicing gratitude, as cheesy as it sounds, really does help when dealing with hard things and when having to go through new life phases and, readjust to different periods in your life. It really does help to shift your focus from the devastating, the bad, the hard, the difficult, to what's good in your life. Figure out what you still have, because when change happens, a lot of times that means you are losing something, even when it's good change. You might not have the same neighbors that you had if you're moving. You might not have the same coworkers you had if you're changing jobs, just things like that. Any change you're going to feel like you lost something. And so it's really important. And in grief case you literally did lose something. But you know what I mean? Like, it's really important to make sure that you're not obsessing, not fixating, not dwelling on the things that you've lost, but shift your focus to the things that you have gained and the things that you still have. Even when it feels like you have gained absolutely nothing, I promise you, if you look for the good in anything long enough, you will find it. If you look hard enough, you will find it. I don't care if it's one thing that you still have that you can hang on to. If you still have clothes to wear, good. You are watching this on YouTube. That means you have internet access. If that's all you feel like you still have, focus on that. It is so important to remember. If you are can see me and hear me, that means you have eyesight. That means you have hearing. There are millions of people in the world who don't even have that, who don't have the use and activity of their limbs, who can't move. So really, you really have to, I know, again, I know it sounds cheesy, but when you really think about the things that you still do have. I'm talking about health, I'm talking about water, internet. Internet is a huge, huge, huge privilege. I don't think most of us realize, especially in this country, how much of a privilege it is to have the internet. You know what I mean? Like, we take so much for granted, you guys, and it is so important to make sure that you do not get hyper fixated on the things that are wrong in your life, or that you feel are wrong, or that, the things that are bad and difficult and really hard. We all got ish, okay? Nobody is exempt. I don't care how much privilege you have, how much money you have, your status, your family, what your last name is. None of us have it easy in this life. And so you have to really focus on the things that you do still have. Find the good in whatever you have been through. Like I said, losing my mom actually made me realize, like, I have parts of myself that, I am hiding, or that I'm not, you know, I have more in me that I want to get out. I have things in my life that I have things that I want to do before I die. I don't know how else to say that. You know what I mean? So it's like having a bucket list. I have so many things that I want to accomplish, things that I want to share. Even if one person sees this video, I don't really care who watches my videos, as long as one person gets something out of what I'm saying. That means so much to me, or even if you just get entertainment, or you feel like you have a friend virtually. Like, I don't really care, as long as you feel like you got something. You know what I mean? Like, that is, to me, fulfilling in this life. That gives me purpose. That, you know, is therapeutic for me. Like I said, having a creative outlet has been super therapeutic for me. So you really have to figure out the things that are therapeutic for you. Grief has taught me so much. Obviously, like I said, leaning into more things that I love, finding those little silver linings, and they can be very hard to find. But if you look hard enough for anything, you're gonna find it. And finding purpose and meaning in my life, it has really, grief has opened my eyes so much to that, because it's made me realize how fast life really is. So it's really, that's all actually really comforting. At least it was for me, going through change, and especially when things are really hard. Remember that nothing lasts forever. Again, the only thing in life that's guaranteed is change. So nothing lasts forever. Whatever you're going to, like that saying is, this too shall pass. No matter what you're going through, you're not going to be in it long. I promise you. And the good and the bad. So it's really important, just with anything in life in general, with any season of life that you're in, no matter what end of the change spectrum you might be on, it's really important to remember that nothing lasts forever. So embrace it. Figure out ways to embrace whatever or wherever it is you are in your life right now. It is going to be a complete game changer when you are, struggling, when you are really trying to figure out how to live a new life, or be a new person, or live a new place, or handle not having someone in your life anymore. It is so important to remember, again, nothing lasts forever, and this is life, which means you can always change it. Even if you feel stuck, if you feel like there's nothing you can do, you can always do something differently. None of us are really as stuck as we think we are, and none of us are really as helpless as we think we are too. Again, if you're watching this, you have the internet, so you have access to everything. So it's really important to just remember and keep those good things on the forefront of your mind and not, like I said, not fixate over the bad things. Really practice gratitude. Make sure that you are um, leaning into things that that fulfill your life and that really give you purpose, and things that you feel called to do. One thing I learned so many things in grief. One of the main things being, I don't care what anyone has to say anymore. I am living my life 110% for myself. I know that, again, nothing lasts forever. We do not come here to stay, and life is too short for me to give a damn what y'all think. Just putting it plainly, I don't care what people think anymore, because we don't come here to stay. So whatever it is you want to do, do it, because you don't get another opportunity. We don't get another one of these. This is not, you know, this is not something we can come back to. So just remember, or at least not this in this lifetime. Whatever you believe, if you believe we come back, fine, but you're never going to come back in the same life, with the same body, with the same people, and the same family that you have. At least I don't believe so. So just remember that nothing lasts forever. We don't come here to stay, and life is too short. The I love the quote, the days are long but the years are short. I know that a lot of parents use that. I actually heard that from Kim Kardashian. She used that when talking about parenting, but I apply that to my life in general. The days are long, especially when you're going through hard things, but the years are short. This goes by so fast, and like I said, I'm 26. Whatever, if you talk to people much older, if you listen to people who are older, 60, 70, 80 years old, they talk about how fast the time went and how much time they wasted worrying what other people think. If you're someone who knows you need to make a change, who knows you need to make a transition, who knows that you're not living your fullest potential, who knows that you're holding yourself back. Again, losing my mom was a wake up call for me, that I wanted to do YouTube for like 10 plus years. I wanted to do YouTube since I was in high school. And I just never did because I was scared what people think. F it. Like, I'm at a point now in my life where I genuinely do not care. To me, that is the best place to be in, because there's nothing anyone can say. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I don't care about negativity or criticism or embarrassing myself, because what you say about me is, one, it's not going to be something I haven't heard already, and it's also not going to be anything that I care about. I care what I think of me, and I think that's a great mentality to have. You have to care what you think about yourself. Other people's opinions don't matter, and so it really helps when you know you need to make a change or you need to make a transition, to remember that your life is up to you. We don't come here to stay. We don't come here for long, so you might as well just make the most of it. Like, you have nothing to lose. None of us do. I know that people have responsibilities and families to take care of, bills to pay. You know, I understand responsibilities in life, but at the end of the day, how you lived your life is up to you. So it's really important for you to make sure that you are living for yourself and not for other people. And that can also be scary. Again, change is usually scary. It is unfamiliar. It is unpredictable when you start to do things that are different. Even when they are things that you want to do, it's not always going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. Look back on, like, when you look back on your life, what do you want to be able to say that you've done? It is the example I say in every single video. Think about yourself 70, 80, hopefully 90 years old, looking back on your life, wherever you are in your life right now. What do you want to say that you have done? What are the memories that you want to have made? Who are the people that you want to have been in your life? And live your life according to that. Live your life according to you. Embrace the discomfort, embrace the change. There's a old hymn that says life or time is filled with swift transition. And that is so true. We don't come here to stay. Nothing lasts forever. Even if it's difficult, even if it's hard, even if it's devastating. I know because I've been there. Remember that nothing lasts forever. This too shall pass. You're going to make it through. Focus on the good much more than you focus on the bad. Shift your focus, shift your perspective, find your silver linings, and just focus on those as much as possible. Find purpose in your life. Live out that purpose every single day. Allow yourself to rest. Remember to give yourself grace and to give yourself time to catch up to whatever change may have occurred. take some time to breathe and to reset and to, work on your adaptability, work on being more flexible, work more on going with the flow, and just, being more peaceful and more calm. Even, scary change, not everything requires an uproar, not everything is a code red situation. Even things that are extremely hard, extremely devastating, relax. You can get through this. Take a deep breath, put your big girl panties on or your big boy drawers on, and know that, like, sometimes you just got to suck it up. Sometimes you got to fake it till you make it. And you got to keep it moving. And compartmentalizing helps too. So if you know you have, again, responsibilities like I was talking about earlier, and you're going through extremely hard things, do what you have to do, but still let yourself cry later. Fall apart later. You handle your ish first, and you can fall apart later, but compartmentalize. Just because one area of your life is, chaotic doesn't mean your entire life is chaotic. Like, put, you know, the different you in the different boxes, if that makes sense. Like, handle your business and still let yourself fall apart later. But just because one area of your life is difficult doesn't mean your entire life is difficult. Control what you can control. Compartmentalizing helps a lot when going through transition and when going through anything hard or any change that is very hard. After I lost my mom, I had to work and I had to work even more because I don't have any immediate family. So it was like, I'm literally, you on your own now, kid. Like, you better figure it out. And so, like, I've had to figure it out. You know what I mean? So I've had to work my booty off. I work like 7 days a week right now, but I love what I do. I'm very passionate about creating content. And so even though I am working 9 to 5, I am still making sure that I am leaning into everything that I'm passionate about, and doing YouTube is one of those things. And so it's really important to make sure that you find time to still do what you love, do what you have to do, and do what you want to do at the same time. Figure out ways to do what you want to do while also doing what you have to do, even if you can only do it 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. Give yourself the time that you need to work on something that you're passionate about, because again, anything that you can do to shift that focus is really going to help you to embrace whatever season that you're in, to take advantage of whatever season that you're in, even if it is hard. If you got any takeaways from this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have been through any hard or even good life transition, season of change, please comment down below anything that has helped you, anything that has been a game changer for you. If you have dealt with grief or loss, I am right here with you. Know that whatever transition or whatever change that may be occurring in your life right now, nothing lasts forever. You're gonna get through it. Life in general is like 5 seconds long, so please, please, please do your best to do everything that you want in this life. Make it a life worth living, whatever that looks like for you, because it really does go by so fast. Do not take it for granted. Use every single moment, as cheesy as it is, use every single moment, every single day, to do at least one thing that you love, or to love on someone else, to show love every single day the best that you can. Give yourself rest, give yourself grace. Just go take a nap when you need to. Sometimes you really just need a nap. Like, sometimes we'd be freaking out and you really just need to go to sleep. Sometimes when you wake up, the things that you thought were ridiculous and devastating and super hard, sometimes after you just go to sleep and wake back up, you're in a more calm state because your brain has had time to process a little bit. So make sure that you are allowing yourself to rest so that your brain and your body can reset and deal with whatever you might have to deal with right now. Nothing lasts forever. So I love you guys so much. Go check out the other videos in this It's a Spring Thing series, and I'll talk to you guys in my next one. Bye.